Welcome! Today you join us as we're heading for Hickory Run State Park in the western foothills of the Pocono Mountains in northeast Pennsylvania. We're coming in from the east through Albrightsville. The sky was looking quite blue, which was not what the forecast had said, and of course that would change throughout the day. The park is easily accessible. I-80 is very nearby, and 476 literally runs through the park itself. We've been here before in summer and it was very busy, so we're hoping that the wintry weather will deter the crowds. Our first stop was Hawk Falls. So once we got to the car park and seeing there were very few cars there, we were enthused that we may have a chance. We set off down the path. Well, one of us did. But as I waited for Mrs. Faceless, and waited, and there she is. Oh, and there she goes. Anyway, the path is lined with many rhododendrons, and it leads to a lovely little bridge that all we've got to do is walk across. How difficult can that be? The trail to the falls is, apart from a slippery bridge, pretty easy at about 1.2 miles out and back, with a roughly 130 foot elevation change. Did I mention that there will be lots of rhododendron bushes? Maybe. We saw a number of signs advising visitors to stick to the path, so please take note as there was obvious damage to vegetation. At the end of the trail, you'll reach the junction of two streams, with the waterfall to the right. To the left is the old bridge and the new bridge of I-476, which I mentioned earlier runs through the park. Hawk Falls is on Hawk Run, and Hawk Run goes into Mud Run. Interesting names. The waterfall itself is actually really quite pretty, and there's quite a good flow. Mrs. Faceless was keen to get the first shot in, but had to be very careful. The annoyance here is the branch hanging across in front of the falls, so getting the camera down low just gets that out of the picture. I'd forgotten my ND filters, so to slow the shutter speed down for a silkier look to the water, I ended up at f22. After a while it was time to head back, not just because we got our photos in, but quite frankly I needed a coffee, and I was getting a little peckish, so make some food up as well. As you can see, there's some snow falling, so a nice hot cup of coffee really is the ticket. We headed back to what we hoped would be our next location, but Mrs. Faceless was eagle-eyed and saw that the Eye was open, or the visitor centre to you and I. I had a quick look round. It was actually quite entertaining. One of the best features of this visitor centre is the map outside. And as you can see here, there's Hawk Falls that we've been to, Shades of Death, the trail that we're going to go to later. But for now, our next destination will be the Boulder Field. Although Hickory Run is a state park, the Boulder Field itself is designated by the National Park Service as a national natural landscape, and a tongue twister. The rocks are not perfectly balanced and will move as you put weight on them. Well, some of them will. So once you add in some snow and ice, together with the weight of a camera bag, you have a pretty good recipe for a broken ankle. Now, to get the classic shot entails getting yourself in a hole, literally. There's a considerable distance between the foreground and background elements in this image, so Mrs. Faceless took an in-focus image of the rocks, and then one of the trees, which she then focus stacked in post-processing. Also to be considered is that the single tree is the main subject, so look to isolate it. Ensure there are no overlaps with the tree line in the background, especially that one pesky tall tree. As you can see here, I've kicked Mrs. Faceless out of the hole so I can just give you a view of what's on the back of the camera, and all looking good. While I'm there, I might as well take a quick shot myself. Boom, there we go. Overall, I don't think the pictures came out too badly at all. With those shots taken, it was time to head to our last stop of the day. So while we're driving there, please give us a like and subscribe. It's much appreciated and helps the channel out. So the final stop will be along the Shades of Death trail at a place called Stametz Dam. Now, don't be too put off by the name Shades of Death Trail. Mrs. Faceless and I have done this several times, and we've hardly ever seen dead bodies scattered by the wayside. Anyway, got to say, Stametz Dam is one of my favourite waterfalls, and if you saw the last video in West Virginia, then you'll know it's up against some stiff competition. I particularly love the curtain of water that comes over the wall here. Unfortunately for us, the light was fading fast as the clouds had brought more snow flurries. There are only a few spots to get a good shot, so you may have to be content with wandering around trying to remove those stray branches. So take your time if possible and move around to find the sweet spots. I managed to find a ledge to the side of the waterfall and, despite its precarious nature, was able to fire off a few shots, although this particular shot in view is overexposed, but I was bracketing, which ensured that I got the shot and all the necessary detail. I did move slightly further around, but this was even more icy and slippery. not so keen on this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. That leaves just a little wander to get up on top of the dam and see the waters of Sand Spring Run that it holds back. Very, very pretty place this. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed travelling along with us today, a like and a subscribe would be much appreciated. Until next time.